Well, first, thank you for whoever is watching this video. I'm excited about PEMF therapy and hope that you're excited to learn about it also. It is something that I had not done in my own cancer journey. I'm a stage 4 melanoma survivor, but I've heard about it and even got to try one out recently. I felt the vibrations on my belly, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, I just want to go over a little bit of information about that with you that I found in my research, not just on cancer, but um, other illnesses as well. So it's pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint slides with you. Okay. So PEMF therapy is the topic for today. But I did want to do a quick review of last week. I went over the NutriVal micronutrient test, and I made a mistake. I thought it was $2,000 out of pocket, but it's actually only $379 out of pocket. $2,000 is what Genova sends. Genova is the company that does the NutriVal test. That's what they bill to insurance if you want to go through your insurance company to get coverage for it. But if you want to avoid the hassle of going through insurance and they may not even cover any of it, then you just pay out of pocket and it's $379. So what you can do, the purpose of the NutriVal test is to test for certain nutrient deficiencies. It tests your level of antioxidants, your B vitamins, lets you know how well you're digesting your foods. And a really cool thing about it is it gives you supplement recommendations. So based on the levels of your nutrients, it will categorize your level either in the normal range, caution range, or I guess concern range, so green, yellow, or red, like a traffic light. And then it gives amounts of supplements to take. So it can be anything from alpha lipoic acid to CoQ10, vitamin A, vitamin E, all the B vitamins, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, maybe not 5, 6, 7, 9, 12. And then it will give you recommendations on digestive enzymes and probiotics, and it gives an overview of each of those components, what their function is in the body, what could go wrong if they're imbalanced, and food sources for those nutrients. And then you can make modifications to your diet. Even you can use foods to try to balance out your nutrient levels, and or supplements, and then retest and see how you're doing. Another thing that is interesting with the NutriVal test is the diagrams that it provides. It's really cool because it shows the Krebs cycle. There's a big circle at the top, and you have the macronutrients from our diet, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, and the different molecules that it breaks up into, and then how they're cofactors, or usually like a vitamin or a substance that helps to fuel that reaction to convert one substance to another. And then if you're imbalanced in one area, it'll you can see exactly what could have been going wrong. So it is missing a test for selenium. It's not completely comprehensive in testing for micronutrients and all that, but it's a really good test. And so I recommend it for when people are going through treatment and maybe they're stuck, or just in kind of bad shape and you need to figure out what supplements to take. That's what I recommend for it. So now this week we're going to talk about PEMF. What is PEMF? It is pulsed electromagnetic frequency, and the way it's generated is through a machine that you plug in. So it has this generator which generates microcurrents of electricity, and then the way it comes out is usually through a pad or a paddle, which you can then apply to your body, or sometimes it can be in a mat that you lie on top of. You can either lie on your back or your stomach. It is safe to put over your face if you want to do that. Safe for your brain. Actually, I think it can also help with healing, brain injuries. I have to double check that. But I got to try it out for the first time 2 days ago, and I could feel the pulses in the body. So it generates an electrical charge in your cells, which is important for all of cellular functions. Basically, all reactions in the cells depend on an energy gradient. And so the pulsed electromagnetic frequency helps to charge your cells so that they can function properly. Makes them more fluid, more energetic, more electrical, more healthy. So one thing it does is reduce inflammation, and this will play a role in many different health scenarios, including arthritis, osteoarthritis. It has been shown helpful, and I got some information from an article called Mechanisms and Therapeutic Effectiveness of Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy in Oncology. So this is if you can see my little screen here, this is a study where I'm getting most of this information from. So it's been helpful in osteoarthritis. If you have it yourself or a loved one who's maybe a little bit older, I thought about my grandma when I read about this. I would love for my grandma to use the machine because she has a lot of pain, and it would be cool to see how that works. But the woman whose house I went to for this machine, she uses it for herself every day, more just for prevention, but she believes in it very, very strongly. She's very passionate about it. She has some very interesting personal experience with it. She had severed a tendon in her shoulder. I think it was under the rotator cuff, and her doctor said that this tendon under the rotator cuff is the only tendon in the body that can't be healed on its own. And so I guess that he would have suggested maybe surgery or something, but she didn't want to do that. So she applied the PEMF therapy to it. I believe it was twice a week, maybe once a week for 9 months, and it completely healed, and she could move her arm and her shoulder like nothing ever happened. She also had osteoporosis. She had less density in her bones, and that healed with the PEMF machine. And she also had an immune, I can't remember exactly the immune problem, but it was corrected with the PEMF machine. I think there was a deficiency in her immune system. And so that was like really wow for me to hear that and actually see her and meet her and see that it was true. And so like people there, you could probably find a bunch of testimonials online of people who have healed from bone fractures or bone breaks more quickly with the PEMF machine. It reduces inflammation. It's also been shown helpful in Parkinson's disease post-surgery to help decrease pain and swelling, and also with chronic wounds, injuries, like I said before, and even cancer. Cancer is related to inflammation, and the PEMF machine reduces inflammation. It can also help with treatment side effects and increasing the efficacy of the treatments to help, improve the patient's prognosis. And so it can actually allow for smaller doses of the cancer treatments, which is a really good thing because oftentimes, like with radiation or chemotherapy, there are negative side effects, nausea, you can be losing your hair, you can just generally feel unwell, and on and on. But the PEMF machine could help to mitigate those. So again, as I mentioned before, in this slide, I have the link and the name of the study that I mentioned where this information is coming from. So more about PEMF and cancer. So PEMF, it's just so cool. I'd love to see it under a microscope, but I'm trusting that, the scientists who saw it, they actually saw it. But in breast and colon cancer cells in vitro, meaning in a petri dish, not in vivo, which is, inside the body. So it can block the growth of new blood vessels from the cancer cells and inhibit mitotic spindle assembly, which is basically when you have two cells dividing. Let's say you have a cancer cell and it's going to make two cancer cells. This is when the chromosomes are segregated or separated into the daughter cells during that cell division. So it blocks that. It's also selectively cytotoxic to cancer cells, meaning that it protects normal cells, but it kills or turns on apoptosis to cancer cells. And then it inhibits cancer cell proliferation through specific frequencies. PEMF can be adjusted to different frequencies so that actually the first study of PEMF in cancer, they came up with about, I think, 1,500 or so different frequencies specific to those cancers based on, like, I think it was the person's skin, let's see. Oh yeah, skin electrical resistance, pulse amplitude, blood pressure. Yeah, 24 tumor-specific frequencies in 163 patients, and in a variety of different types of cancer. It was administered for an hour, 3 times a day, and I probably wouldn't do it 3 times a day. I mean, at least not to start. And so none of the patients who received the PEMF therapy at this time, trying to see what year that was, but none of them had any side effects, no negative side effects from it. It's very safe. So some of them had stable disease for 3 years or 6 months, 5 months, 4 months. And then, but it can slow the cancer or the tumor growth, so it helps to prolong the survival compared to, without it. All right. So there are a couple other studies listed there. It inhibits tumor growth, impairs breast cancer cell viability, so it makes the breast cancer cells not able to live as well, and it modulates gene expression. So with genes which can be affected by environmental factors, it can be affected by our mental state, it can be affected by our what we eat and how we exercise or don't exercise. So we have pro-cancerous genes and anti-cancer genes, basically things that can promote cancer or inhibit it, and those can be affected by PEMF in a favorable way. All right, so the cost of PEMF, it is expensive. I didn't put on here single sessions, they may run about $80 or so. But, it's hard to do like a la carte treatments for yourself. It may be most beneficial to get your own machine, but as you can see here, they're expensive. They can go over $20,000. I might have even seen one for almost like $30,000 before. That might be if you have all the money in the world or you want to use it to help other people. If you have about 50 years or so to pay it off. But I believe I spoke with someone who said that he had found one for about $1,000. I'm still trying to go down, investigate that further and find the actual machine. But they can be expensive. NASA actually uses it. I forgot to mention this for astronauts who go into space because they're more susceptible to osteoporosis because there's less gravity. So they use PEMF to maintain their bone health, which is really cool. Athletes also use it to heal from injuries. Forgot to mention that. So it's out there. You may or may not have heard about it. I did not hear about it. At least I don't think back in 2011 when I was going through cancer, or even before then. But it's pretty cool. If I could have one, I would. I believe in it, and it's helpful. I don't think that any one thing is really a miracle cure for cancer or any disease, but PEMF could be part of a holistic healing regimen. There are a couple brands here that I mentioned just for finding out more information, or if you wanted to buy a machine yourself, or potentially find someone who can help you with this. And that's about all I got for you. So I will now open it up to questions.
All right,
Jump.
ready?
Oh, let me just. I'm just gonna.
For the whole time?
No, just.
I love you. I love you. I love you. So Daddy will start. Daddy. The only thing I want you to play around with is clasp your hands sometime. Hold it tightly. Mommy. It's what? It's cool though. So know that you're getting it from. I love you.